The following podcast is a mass media production.
Hi, I'm Josh Galindo.
And I'm Krystal Galindo. Welcome to the Going Galindo Rugrats and Renovations podcast.
A lifestyle podcast where we will offer our experience and expertise in building real, lasting wealth through renovating and flipping homes.
And the chaos that comes with balancing a family of 6, leaving nothing unsaid.
Follow our wild ride we call life and apply our lessons to your own journey. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am good. Think I'm good. Yeah? Yeah.
Good.
How are you?
Excellent. Thanks for asking.
How was your morning?
Amazing.
That's good.
I had a really good gym session.
Yeah.
I've been starting to do just cardio for the last 2 days. I think I'm only going to do cardio for the next 5 days. I'm trying to lean up a little bit because the quarantine 15 is putting up a hell of a fight.
Like you've been quarantined.
Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard it.
You know, what it was is it was more the drinking.
Yeah.
Like, I still worked, but I think I came home and drank like for a week straight one week.
Yeah, and the gym was closed.
And the gym was closed. Yeah, that was tough. It was kind of sad.
So you're depressed about the gym being closed and you're drinking.
And then I'm drinking more, just doubling down on it.
Hey, I wanted to take a moment to tell you about Battle-Born Injury Lawyers. They handle personal injury, which covers everything from auto accidents to wrongful death. You never know when something bad will happen to you or your family. Be smart about it and make sure that you have a resource to contact right away if you should ever need it. Put Matt's number in your phone now. He will not let you down. It's 702-570-9000.
All right, so what are we talking about today?
We're talking about a day in the life.
A day in the life of the Galindo family.
Working together.
So there's a few things that I wrote down here that I think will help us out here. So how do we work together? I think a lot of people ask that question. And I think a big misconception is that we go in the office together, we're holding hands, we're skipping through the hallways, we sit down at our desks that are connected, and we sit next to each other and work all day.
No.
Do you want to give them the reality?
That would not work if that was the case.
I don't think it works.
I feel like we see each other at the office like maybe for an hour out throughout the whole day.
That was kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Is when we work together, I think you're actually working and I'm actually working.
Yes.
So just because we work in the same building doesn't mean we're necessarily working together.
Right. I don't really see you very much.
No.
It's probably okay, though.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I think if we saw each other all the time, it would create a lot of...
It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
I mean, I could handle seeing
Not
you all the
in a bad
time,
way.
but you can handle seeing me all the time.
Well, here's what I think happens is I think there's two different types of mentalities, and I often communicate to the people closest to me that begin to learn about the way that I am in my business life versus my personal life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like when they're beginning to be introduced to that space, I have to like remind them, hey, this is a different Josh than probably what you're used to.
Right. And once you're business, like business comes first.
Yeah,
so.
right. No, it's like about making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only focus is about making money. What was kind of funny is I was interviewing this guy this week, and he was a cute kid, is all I can kind of say. I don't know the right word. There's probably a lack of better words.
Sweet kid?
Yeah, nah, cute. Sweet would be like sweet. He was cute.
Okay.
He was an amateur. He was just out of college. He was... I'm sure whatever questions he was asking me, he read in a book somewhere. And he asked me at the end of the interview, he goes, because now he's trying to regain his posture in the interview. He goes, let me ask you a question. Because I asked, do you have any questions for us? And he goes, yeah, let me ask you a question. He goes, do you guys, when making a decision, do you use logic or emotion? I looked back at this guy to like think. First I gave him credit for stepping up and asking such a intense question.
That's
I'm like
pretty layered.
because he kind of knew that I wasn't interested in him, unfortunately. And he was a great guy, but I need someone experienced. It wasn't a good fit. Yeah. So I look at my colleague Matt, who was in the meeting with us, and I say, just care about the result. If the result needs to make money, has nothing to do with if logic, it gets me there and it generates money, that's the result I'm looking for. If emotion gets me there and it generates money, and that's the result that I'm looking for, then I use both.
Yeah.
But it was funny. This like 19-year-old kid had me on my heels. I'm like, wait, what? Excuse me? But then I reminded myself that at the end of the day, for me, it's always about making money. If you're not making money, what's the point of being in business if you're not making money?
Right.
You know, that's what I always tell the agents at Galindo Group is if you choose to be an NFL football player and you're absolutely terrible at it, and every Sunday you go out there and put on the worst performance ever, why are you doing that? It's probably time to go find something that you're spectacular at. Like, are you okay with the abuse? You know, and I bet subconsciously a lot of people choose their place in the world based on what's comfortable for them.
Yeah.
If ridicule, abuse, criticism, uncomfortable feelings are their comfort zone, then they'll go choose a job that they suck at so that every day they walk in and they get abused, ridiculed, you know, just get their ass kicked every day. Well, for me, I want to be a winner. I want to walk into a space every day and be acknowledged as the winner of the space. And so when I walk in, I got to win.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to feel the other way.
No, that was actually very educational for me just now. I've never heard you say that. It's true.
It is true. So how do we work together?
Okay.
Something that I thought was really powerful. We went to dinner the other night, right?
Yes.
A Saturday night. Well, we went to an event with friends. And I'm sitting there talking business with my colleague. And the bill comes.
Yes.
And he steps up. He takes the bill. We look around. There's 12 people. The bill's multi-$100s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not paying for everybody. I already paid for everybody earlier in the evening. But I'm like, I'm not going to stress myself out with that drama because I want to maintain my vibrations of living in abundance, not lack. Like how much money's leaving. No, it's only about how much money's coming in for me. How much money's coming in. And I look at the guy who's preparing himself to take on the task of divvying up who owes what, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, hey, have your wife handle that. You're a producer. This is the guy that I'm mentoring. I'm like, you're a producer. Keep your mindset in production.
Yeah.
If she's there to handle the other sides of your life and business, let her take ownership in that. Step up and take that on. But you need to keep your mind in a space of produce, abundance, not lack.
Right.
And I said, give her that receipt. And he did. And we continue to talk business and about how we're going to be bettering ourselves in bigger and better things. So I think that that's very relevant to our relationship.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Why don't you tap on that for the audience so that it doesn't look like...
I feel like what my biggest contribution is besides like the family aspect as far as business goes, and I feel like I take all the stuff off your plate that would slow you down.
There you go. Say it just one more time.
I take everything off your plate that would slow you down.
There you go.
And that's what I manage.
Do you remember when we were on the boat this weekend?
Yes.
And it wouldn't go very fast?
Yes.
Do you know why?
Because everybody was in the front.
Well, and I'm being lazy, and I haven't taken it out for the winter, so the bottom has a bunch of barnacles on it. So it's like a boat with sandpaper on the bottom of it.
Okay.
There's a visual analogy for what you just described. Imagine if all of that shit was off the bottom of the boat. It would have gone faster because there's no resistance.
Got it.
And so what you are to me is you are a person that keeps me thinking clean and smooth and able to just continue to smoothly glide through the water.
Or like wherever you're walking, I clear the path.
That's right. No, and if you're good at that, and that's what I always make sure is you want to identify the roles in your relationship, whatever that person's good at. Do you feel you're good at that?
Yeah.
Do you think you're able to take on that stress with a healthy mentality?
I can take it on. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming, but
I think you do an amazing job. I really do. I think you do a spectacular job at that. I can tell you that I don't do well with that type of stress. The second I start thinking about lack of money, I immediately kind of clam up.
I think so, yeah.
So It's a beautiful thing that we have.
It is. It is.
So good job.
Thank you.
So I think this is a funny fact. And then I think you have a lot to describe after I make this funny fact.
Okay.
Is I don't think I have stressed over a bill since 2011. Actually, you said 2010. Sorry. We just had this conversation.
Before we got married.
I don't think I've stressed over a bill since 2010 because you have literally paid every single bill since that day.
Including like dinner bills, like every single bill.
You know, the funny thing, I think everybody listening will relate to this. I remember back when nobody really had any money, so you'd get a bill for $100. And I was like, I'm not getting screwed. So I'd take the bill and I'd look at everybody in the room and I'd say, you owe 20, you owe 20, you owe 20. And then it'd get back to me and I'd be short like $18. Like, how's this always happen? Somebody always didn't tip 20% or didn't pay for tax or didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember all those stressful evenings. And then when I met you, you took all that over for me.
I did. And, you know, sometimes it's short $5 here and there, but I'm not going to get a Starbucks that week and it's going to be fine.
There you go.
I would say that there's a lot of things. A lot of what I do today is like even my job duties has just like accumulated stuff that's, you know, weighs on you, and then I take it like, what can I do to help you? Okay, I'll take this on because it's
such as what?
Okay, where do I start? I would say where I started taking the burden off of you is when you were stressing about money and I was working and you were deciding to short sale your house that you were living in. We moved back into my first house.
Which, as soon as I decided to short sale that house, that was the last time that I actually ever made a mortgage payment again.
Or a power bill or a gas bill.
There you go.
So, yeah, from 2010 when we moved into my place, you lived at my place.
That's right.
I paid all the bills.
Yeah.
And there was no reason to have you start paying the bills again. So I've always managed that. And honestly, I feel like me taking that burden off of you whenever we went to eat somewhere or out somewhere, it was less tension because for me, I was always like, come on, we're just here to have fun. And I'm not trying to spend too much money. But you were like, well, what's the cheapest drink I can get? But can you make it a double for free? And then and it's like so much anxiety every single time we went to go eat. So I realized once I started paying, you don't see all the money going out. You were able to live a little bit better and you were able to work harder and focus on that.
Isn't that funny? I think there's a lesson in that. And I think that's a lesson that I picked up. As soon as I quit thinking in lack, I began to only produce abundance. Mm-hmm. And because all of that penny pinching stuff, all of that is just you're vibrating at a level of lack. I can't spend that. I can't spend that. I can't spend that. I can't spend that. I remember I used to make every financial decision in my life. I would sit down. I would write down all of my bills. Mm-hmm. And then I'd write down my income. And then I would do the math and either say I've got this much left over or I'm negative this much. If I've got this much over, okay, it means I can afford my new desire, car payment, whatever it was. And I remember I was doing it one time. My mom walked in and goes, "What are you doing?" And I told her. And she looks at the numbers. I was living on $2,500 a month. She's like, "Josh, you can't save your way to being wealthy." Is that the right term? You can't save your way. Yeah, because being a freak saver.
Yeah.
You can't save your way to being wealthy. You need to make more money.
Yeah.
That's what she was saying. You need to go make more money. You're living so cheap. Mm-hmm. She's like, $2,500 a month, Josh. Like, that is really, really cheap. I remember thinking that, and I was like, holy cow, that's right. I need to go make more money. And the other thing was, I remember I signed up for a $700 car payment on my GS 300, my Lexus. It was a lease, a 2006. I was so excited to buy this car. And I remember sitting in front of the finance lady, and I was like petrified for what was to come as far as the payment went. And this lady looked at me and said, every time that I've ever signed up for a bigger bill, my subconscious has gone and made more money. Mm-hmm. And I really remember hearing that. And that funny, the Lexus finance lady was the one that taught me that lesson.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's a really powerful role. So I would encourage anybody listening that if you can set that dynamic up with your significant other, it will be super beneficial as far as creating additional wealth and abundance and productivity.
And I would say, you know, it's not like it's not stressful for me to do that. It is a little bit of, is stressful, but there's no point for me and you to take on the burden. And if it's going to hold you back from producing more, then I should take on that burden.
Well, there's stress in both departments.
Yeah.
There's stress in producing and there's stress in figuring out the family financials. So, but why share in both of them?
Right.
Why share? Why feel both?
Right.
You have enough stress in producing. There's enough stress in the financials. Why not you handle that? I'll handle this. So why don't we fast forward to today? Because I think it's a pretty powerful thing as to what you are manning today.
Oh man.
It went from paying the mortgage on Rock Meadow, which was our cute little 1,400 square foot 2-story Mountain's Edge that Krystal bought for $133,000 and got $8,000 from the government for buying it. I think the payment was like what, $888?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, how funny.
Plus HOA and stuff like that.
And it was an upside down house. So like the bulk of the living space was downstairs.
It was perfect for roommates.
So upstairs was just a living room, a kitchen, and the master. So it was like living in like 1,000 square foot apartment.
Yeah. It was nice and cozy.
It certainly wasn't a family
You couldn't
home.
get away from me.
That was a great little house. And you made money on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was your big accomplishment back then. What are you up to today?
Well, I would say that every time we had a kid, that was another task that I was fully 100% manning.
Oh my goodness, yes. I think every time we should bring that up. It's such a task. It's such a monumental task that should be acknowledged. Yeah,
and it's hard because it's all in my head. I can't even tell you to do it. I just have to do it.
Is it one of those things like by the time I tell them to do it and the way that I want it done, I could have done it myself?
Kind of like this morning, you said, what do they pack in their lunch? I'm like, I'll be there in 2 minutes.
I was like, kids, just pack what you need.
Anyways, I do a lot. The rentals, I mean, there's, how many doors do we have now?
25 we actually own, and I have 2 under contracts, so we will have 27 before the end of the year.
And does that include the Bryan Head? I should know that, but
that would be 28.
Yeah.
And then if you include our personal residence, 29.
So that's 29 properties that I have to pay every single utility for, every single HOA for, every single trash bill, every single sewer bill, every single property tax. And it's hard to remember all that stuff, you know.
And that's the easy part.
Yeah, that's the easy part. It's dealing with the maintenance and the repairs on the rentals that I get very overwhelmed with.
Yeah. And collecting.
But I do feel like, you know, I remember telling you I remember Debbie convincing you to let me manage it. She was like, Krystal's got it. She could do it. You know, you don't need to waste your time doing this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can take on anything else.
But you did.
And I did. And it was...
How did you find that it sounds cheesy to say this, but how did you find, there you go, this is a better way to put it. How did you find the confidence to do that?
When I started doing it, it made me feel like I was contributing more. It made me feel, what's the word? It gave me a little bit more purpose. I felt like I was...
And getting that purpose, is that empowering?
Yeah.
So then it's the accomplishment equals confidence thing again.
Yes.
The more you accomplish, the more confidence you had.
Yeah.
Because when you started this, what did we have, maybe 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet that was a big take on at that time.
Yeah.
And now you're like 27.
Right. But then every time you're like, I'm going to buy another one, I'm like, oh no. I'm excited, but at the same time, it comes with more duties, you know?
So let's segue into something separate on that. You always talk about celebrating.
Yes. I think you have to celebrate your wins.
Why?
Because that's what you're working for. That's how I live. I live like everything is a celebration.
Do you see how everything is yin and yang to the listeners? I want people to hear that. Like you are over here talking about how you celebrate your wins. It's what you live for.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I would say that I just keep accomplishing. I just keep gobbling and accomplishing. As soon as I accomplish it, I'm like, when's my next task?
As soon as you accomplish it, you're like, yeah, that was supposed to happen.
It's just a beautiful thing because the blend between the two of us is what makes, I think, our relationship so good.
I agree.
All right, it's time to talk about our podcast sponsor, Southwestern Custom Construction. I've been in real estate for a while now, and I've dealt with a lot of shitty contractors. You know you found a good contractor when they show up on time, get your bid done quickly, and do a great job without the constant nagging and hassle. I've been working with Nick Marietta for a while now, and he comes highly recommended. If you need a contractor, get in touch with Nick at Southwestern Custom Construction. His phone number is 480-235-8148. Tell me about how you like celebrating your wins. Thank you. And why?
Even if it's like going home and cheersing at dinner, like, hey, like we made it to this or whatever. Like we just bought a rental. Okay, cool. Like we need to celebrate it. Not just like, okay, we got it. Moving on. Like, I feel like if you dismiss it, it just doesn't make it as exciting for me, you know?
So would you be more excited if we celebrated each rental?
I would.
Really?
Yeah, like, let's go out to dinner.
Like maybe throw $100 at dinner?
Yeah. Maybe a little less.
We'll do a lazy dog night.
Yeah.
$48. If you don't drink, the alcohol is the freaking expensive part of the bill.
Right, but sometimes it's hard to celebrate, you know?
Without it.
Because then
I know.
it just makes it more
It
exciting.
just makes it way more cool. All right. Cool, baby. So today you are running everything.
Yeah. So now I
You are the
manage
financial controller of me.
Yes. So I pay all the rentals, but I also do manage all the flips. So, you know, the $50,000 you spend each month on the credit card for the flips, I have to decide where each dollar is supposed to go based on your receipts that you provide
So
me.
is that why you get so frustrated when you're looking for receipts?
Yes. I'm like, where does this go? I have no idea. There's too many places.
Yeah.
So I have to be stern about it.
Good. So
That's my department. That's when
and
I
that's
get
just
to be in
one
control.
flip.
That's just one flip. Yeah.
Do we actually spend $50,000 a month?
Yeah.
From all of the flips?
From all the businesses. Yeah.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
It's probably a good thing.
That's good.
Probably shouldn't have told you.
No, it doesn't change my life because I have complete confidence that you will be able to do your job.
Yeah.
So as long as I have that, then I'll be good. Do I have anything to worry about?
No. I would say that that is hard though, because, you know, me seeing that go out all the time does make me a little bit of a penny pincher.
And that's okay, because I think that's what, again, it goes back to yin and yang. So I'm constantly pushing, focusing on growth, because there's no lack in my life. There's zero. Literally, it's like doesn't exist. I got all the money in the world, in my world. So I'm like, okay, how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this? And then you're on the other side going,
Yeah.
stay in control.
Yeah.
Keep it together, Josh.
Yeah.
So I think it's a perfect balance.
It is.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I have to let you do your thing though.
Well, but it's all, of course, restrained with reality.
Yeah.
There's ambition and then there's reality.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's amazing. So I think I think we kind of covered a lot there as far as working together. I think we didn't even mean to do that, but I think that what we just shared there is even just a sliver. That's only a sliver. That's not even all of it.
I would just say if you were to just encompass what I do, I think I'm just support. I'm emotional support. Not financial support, but I'm just your support. I'm there to cheer you on and tell you I got this if you want to go do this.
Well, I think a lot of that goes back to love language too.
Yeah.
I think everybody receives love in the way that I'm sure there's other ways to receive love, but they've kind of summarized it in, I believe there's 4 ways to receive love, or is that the 4 agreements?
I think there's 5 love languages.
5 love languages. And one of mine is words of affirmation.
And then what's your second?
Physical touch.
Yeah.
So you give me those 2 things and I'm ready to roll. I'm like a well-oiled machine.
Where does food play into that? Because you get hangry if you don't get food either.
I don't eat food for luxury. I eat food for necessity and fuel.
I know.
Yeah.
Because if you don't eat, you can't even think.
All right, let's go into this one.
Okay.
Everybody needs to prepare themselves. This could get ugly.
What?
How do we resolve conflict?
Oh, man. You choose your battles?
Ooh. I'm going to let you lead this one, honey.
Oh, man.
What does that mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, I choose my battles. Let me explain.
Well, usually is the fight or the argument worth the relationship? Like me or you, like what I'm arguing about, is it worth it if you were to be like, I don't even want to be in a relationship if this is how it is?
It's a little bit extreme.
It's a little extreme because it's like do or die, but
I think maybe more like,
one.
Do I want to shift my energy today based on this fight? Yes or no? No. So I let the fight go. There's never...
Sometimes I do that.
I want to make sure, see, because I'm such a freak about what's put out into the universe. I don't even want to put that into the universe.
Okay.
There's nothing on this planet that would jeopardize my relationship with Krystal. So she doesn't have to scrub our conflict with, is he going to stay in the relationship or not? Like, no, doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Universe, that's it. Doesn't exist. Let's go back now. And that was a golden nugget for those that are listening. Everything that you say is impactful. I'm just going to go on a tangent here.
Okay, go for it.
The word is so incredibly powerful, and the brain doesn't decipher things based on emotion. The brain just deciphers based on definition. That's how I look at it. So if you say, I'm so stupid, well, then that little hint of emotion in that statement is what is convincing your conscience to think that it's okay to say that, because it's joking. But your subconscious, which is what controls your actual brain, just interpret that based on its actual definition. I am stupid is what it heard. Okay. So it's really important to be very conscious of what you say, because I believe that every single thing that you say and what you think is ultimately going to be your reality.
It's very true.
That just popped in my head.
It's called manifestation.
It is called manifestation, and everybody summarizes it with that term, but not everybody actually understands what it means. I was reading a comment or a post by somebody at one of the agents the other day. It said affirmations. And I'm like, okay. It says like, I will have money. I will have peace of mind. I will have this. I will have an abundance of whatever. I will have love, whatever it was. And it actually kind of turned me off, the statement did. And it was funny because everybody on his comments were like, beautiful affirmations. Yay, affirmations are great. Oh my gosh, I love this. And I chimed in and said, affirmation versus manifestation. And maybe there's a formal definition out there. I don't know. I didn't read it. So forgive me if I'm wrong here. But to me, when you want to manifest things, you say that they are happening. I am wealthy. I am happy. I am surrounded with love. Like in the present. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just always a will away.
Got it.
I will have that one day. I will have that one day.
Kind of like your LLC sometime soon.
It was the worst name. I learned that from that. I named some land deals, the LLC that held the land. I named them these really unbelievable names. I was very young and wasn't very consciously aware. One was called Sometime Soon.
So every time we talked about it, we just started calling it Sometime Soon Now.
Do you know how many times that deal went in and out of escrow?
I know.
Dude, it was literally Sometime Soon. Sometime soon we'll get our money back. It was the worst name ever. The other one, It's Coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. When?
I didn't even think about It's Coming, but Sometime Soon, I always call it Sometime Soon Now. I don't even call it anything else anymore.
It should be like, I'm going to be rich today, LLC. LLC will generate cash today.
Okay, so I have a question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So sometimes I am not able to, you say you're manifesting, but you don't truly believe it because you kind of have a little bit of doubt, because if you were to fully believe it and it doesn't happen, you would be disappointed and be let down. How do you shake that?
Well,
for example, my new car. I don't want to I still have a little bit of, because what if something happens that we don't keep it? So I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to be disappointed. So I want to manifest it, but then I still don't want to.
I hear your question, and my answer is it's 100% conviction. Conviction.
Okay, I think it's conviction, but
100% conviction. So whatever you're desiring or whatever you're wanting to manifest, you have to believe it to the core.
Okay.
You have to believe it to it's do or die. I know it sounds so cliche. It is literally do or die. Like death. Okay. Now, if that was your only option, what would you do to make it happen? If your other option was death, what would you do to make it happen? Just answer my question really quick for the viewers.
Yeah, you'd make it happen.
You would make it happen. That is the level of commitment you have to that thing that you want to create in your life. And what I think people always, what I think can be, I don't want to generalize people, so I have to stop saying that term. What I think is important to know here is that when you identify whatever the task is, that's what I'm getting at here. It doesn't always have to be this big monumental task that if I don't eat, I'm going to die. Or if I don't sleep, I'm going to die. Or if I don't find my significant other, I'm going to die. Like, if you apply that mentality to everything, you will accomplish everything in your life. Like everything. When I say everything, like I have to be there at 7 o'clock. Okay. Most people just roll over right away and go, I can't make it. There's no way. To me, until my physical reality shows up as I've failed, I can still make it. I legitimately believe I can get what I want until I fail. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I never anticipate failure and then make my decision based on the anticipated failure. I never anticipate my failure and make my decisions in my current reality in anticipation of the failure. I believe I can make it all the way until I fail. I'm that guy that's why I ran out of gas 10 times.
Yeah.
10 times. I've ran out of gas probably 25 times.
Yes.
That is a perfect analogy for what I'm trying to describe here. I believed all 25 times I would make it to the gas station until my reality showed otherwise.
So then how do you change that? How do you...
You have to believe it.
But once you fail, how do you...
That's okay.
Set yourself back to believe
you just
in
get
the
back
next
on
thing.
the horse. But that mentality has served me. Okay, so think about this. I may have ran out of gas 25 times, but I've made it to the gas station probably 1,500 times.
Okay.
Right?
Fair.
So I can go, oh my gosh, the 1,500 minus 25 times, I'm just gonna give up now and pull off and get gas. But I may not have had all the success, all the other 1,500 times I made it to the gas station. I would have never had those successes had I used that mentality every single time that I was just going to run out. Right. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take it all the way till I run out. And I won't, is that making sense? I want to make sure I'm very clear here. I am committed 100% to me succeeding until I fail. You don't know that failure has shown up until it shows up.
And you don't have a plan for when that failure happens.
No. No. Who cares? It's going to happen. I mean, here's a great example. Is when I woke up, am I helping with what you asked here? Am I giving good information back to you?
I think that people need to know that they can't live in fear. So if they fail, it's okay. It's going to benefit them because then the next thing they try, they know, you know, I've already failed, so might as well try.
The best thing that my mom told me about dating, she encouraged me to date. She said, Josh, I want you to date as many people as you possibly can. Not
at the same time.
At the same time, as long as you're honest and transparent. And if you're not honest and transparent, then you need to date people individually. You can do whatever you want in life as long as everybody around you is okay with it. That is a big rule of mine. You can do whatever you want as long as everybody's okay with it. As long as everybody knows that that's what you're doing and everybody's okay with it. So, date as many people as you can, because every failed relationship you learn about yourself. You don't look at the other person and go, man, that person sucked. You're probably like, well, what did I do wrong? Right?
You should. Not everybody does that. So I think
everybody does it, and then they realize that they messed up, and then of course they try to deflect the blame back to the other party. But everybody at some point reflects on themselves for a moment. Now imagine if we could teach our beautiful children to date multiple people before they commit to somebody, have failed relationships, teach them the mechanics of looking back at themselves and seeing if they contributed to that failure, and then choose to make themselves better. How amazing they're going to be when it comes time and they finally find that significant other that is their soulmate. Yeah. They will be prepared and ready for it.
Right. It's true. Yeah.
So, failure is what I was getting at, is what teaches you the most. It teaches you the most. Every house that's gone bad on me. Yeah. Those were the best learning lessons I ever had. You know, and it was almost, put it this way, it was a blessing. You know this story better than anybody. Pacific Terrace, first house that I ever bought. Yeah. I walked in. There was so much mold in this house. I touched the kitchen island with my finger, and it fell down.
Collapsed.
And it collapsed. I touched with my pointer finger. I didn't punch it. I didn't sidekick it. I touched it with my pointer finger, and the concrete tile countertops, it's those old school countertops, the weight.
Because the cabinet just disintegrated.
Okay. It didn't end there.
Right.
The house was full of furniture. Okay, you want to talk about a failure? I sold the van for $375 to a Hispanic gentleman. The guy rolls up 3 hours later. I'm thinking the van's stolen. I'm thinking the van's behind in the garage. I'm thinking I don't know anything about getting a title. I'm thinking all this stuff. Oh my gosh. All of the fear forced me to make a poor decision by selling it to this gentleman for $300-something. 2 hours later, he rolls up the locksmith, starts it right up, and drives it off.
Yeah.
That guy probably sold that van for $5,000 to $7,000.
Yeah.
That would have been the world of difference on that flip.
Right.
You know what I learned from that?
No.
No, I'm never going to sell another vehicle that I believe. I mean, this wasn't like a crap junking. This was like a beautiful van. It was like,
and he knows what he's signing up for.
He knew what he was signing up for, and I bet at some point in his life he had failed, which taught him to learn better, so that when the next opportunity arose, he knew how to take advantage of it. And so, failure to me is the best thing possible.
It's the best lesson.
Best lesson, and the more failure you get, the better you get. More comfortable you get around it. When I don't run out of gas today, I hate doing it because it's an inconvenience, but I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not any of the first things I felt the first time I ran out of gas. I'm like, fuck, I ran out of gas again.
Yeah.
I look at Dan and go, bro, he ran out of gas again. He looks back at me. He goes, I have never ran out of gas in my life. I go, you're living too safe.
Oh, my goodness.
You got to live more aggressively. If you haven't ran out of gas, immediately go run out of gas right now. You learned 50 lessons in that one experience. You want me to tell you how to problem solve? Be at the front line of Charleston and 215 here in Las Vegas, turning right to go to the Costco shopping center, the Best Buy shopping center, the Red Rock Casino shopping center, and be in the front of the right turn lane with your son in the back seat and run out of gas. And watch how fast you can decision make. It was the fastest decision making I'd ever done in my life. It was so fast. I called my neighbor across the street. I said, "Do you have gas?" She said, "Yes." I said, "I am in front of, I am on the 215 in the very front of this line. Every person turning right is having to honk and go around me." This lady jumped through the Station Casino bushes with a vengeance. She looked like a superhero shooting out of the bushes. Filled my car up, slammed the thing shut, and I took off.
Yeah.
Running out of gas, small thing that can happen, but it teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot. It teaches you I don't want to spend $8 on that stupid container when a gallon of gas is $1.50.
Yeah.
Not really, but you get it. And actually, I think if we're going to be realistic, I think the container is like $22, and I think it's whatever the cost of gas is. Okay, and I want to touch back to the Tesla.
Yeah.
Let's have a brief conversation on that topic.
Okay.
Be honest. Do you feel that there's a chance that car will not be in your reality?
Yes.
Okay.
If I'm being honest.
I want you to ask me the same question.
Josh.
Yes.
Do you feel like there's a chance that we won't have the Tesla, that we won't keep it?
No fucking way. I legitimately believe in every cell in my body that I will have that car.
I mean, if we don't, it's okay.
No. See? That's the difference. That's the difference. And that's okay. You can live that way. But if you want to create massive results in your life and be an accomplished machine, you can't think that way. I already have all the solutions to all of our insecurities surrounding that vehicle. We're concerned that we won't be able to transport stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I already have that problem solved. You got another problem for me? Because I probably got that one solved too.
No.
Car seats, got that problem solved.
I'm able to do that in some areas. Like, I knew I was never going to stop at 3 kids. I knew I was going to have 4. So
take that same level of ferocious desire to have that thing and apply it to everything. Don't pick and choose what you put it at.
Okay.
So people are like, why does Josh get so crazy over that? Because I get crazy over everything.
Yes, you do.
Everything. I just want to stay in that zone. All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
I thought that was good. It took us a minute to get there, but we got there. So I think the big thing that I want to take away from that little gas and failure and all of that stuff moment was, one, when you fail, you have to get good at failing.
Yes.
It doesn't...
Because it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
It's all going to work out.
You got to have faith that it's going to be okay.
Yes.
And as long as you have faith that it will be okay when the failure shows up, You'll accept the failure knowing it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
See how simple that sounds?
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get at it. I fail all the time. And I'm just really good at it, at bouncing back from it. Don't live scared. Mm-hmm. If you've never ran out of gas, I go and challenge you to run out of gas. It'll teach you a lot. It's the reality.
Because ultimately, you'll get gas and you'll start driving
there you
again.
go. I mean, this gas analogy, I'm going to start using it. This is the first I ever used it. Anyway, yeah, so never give up. Embrace failure. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, all I got.
It creates character.
Creates character.
So
failure creates character. Ooh, yeah. Kind of sounds good. Okay. I love you, honey.
I love you too.
Good job.
When you're selling a home, it's all about making a first impression with those potential buyers. The House of Vegas understands that. They will stage your house using high-quality furniture, and it'll make your buyers never want to leave. Do yourself a favor and reach out to Thomas at the House of Vegas. They know time is money, and they will act quick. Their number is 310-503-3611.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for listening.
If you enjoyed the show, please rate, subscribe, and share our podcast. You can also connect with us on social media or at galindogrouprealestate.com.
Until next time, thanks again for listening.